good economic times, the globalists are always going to have a little bit of an edge because people like to travel, people like to explore the world, and that, money flows around from all parts of the world. But in this cycle, because we have a little bit of economic strain due to COVID, protectionist policies have come into play, and that is what the appeal is of Trump, and that's what most likely is going to happen within the European Union as nations focus inward to protect their own nations rather than a central government that's thousands of miles away in Brussels.
Mm-hmm. And what's also going on with the case against Trump?
Well, I mean, realistically, this quote unquote impeachment is of a president that's no longer in power, which constitutionally there's not really a precedent for such an event. Most likely, the situation is there's not going to be 60 votes for impeachment. Even if there was, it doesn't prevent Trump from running ever again. It doesn't kick him out of office because he's already out of office. So, I mean, this is more or less a show for the Democratic base voters more than anything else.
So it's a play with politics again. We spoke a lot during this series of programs with other investment bankers about cryptocurrencies. On Bloomberg today, we saw the scam on Stefan Quinn. Could you give us an update of what's going on with that? Can you hear me, Albert?
Oh yes, I can go for Bloomberg. Oh yeah, for cryptocurrencies.
No.
I don't really see.
I'm speaking about the scam and Stefan today on cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies.
I haven't honestly. I haven't really kept up about that one on cryptocurrencies and the scams. I mean, there's so many of them. To be honest with you, Leah, you're talking about. You're talking about individuals that are running hedge funds and taking investor money for cryptocurrencies that are unregulated. The cryptocurrency mining operations are in China, Iran, Russia, God knows wherever. I mean, I don't see what the appeal is of cryptocurrency aside from trying to break away from a centralized government control of finance.
Mm-hmm. And can we just have a quick look at Venezuela? The dynamics of Guaido and Maduro, how is this affecting the rollout of the vaccine for COVID-19?
Well, I mean, Venezuela has such political problems up and down the entire chain of operations within the country. They have nothing. They have no money. They've tried to trade off oil for dirt cheap prices to the Chinese and the Russians. The only vaccines that they're likely to get is from Russia or China in lieu of, further oil contracts in the future. So, I mean, Venezuela is a problem that the United States is most likely going to have to address in the next 4 to 8 years. It's a humanitarian problem. It's a geopolitical problem. It's not going away anytime soon as long as the Chinese and the Russians prop it up.
Sure. The Honourable Claudio Grech is going to pose a question to you. He likened the politics you were talking about with the American politics. So if you could go ahead and ask him your question.
Yes, maybe a question which one would bear out of literally what has been going on in the States over the last few weeks following Biden's election is what is the sentiment on the ground in terms of populism, So we've seen over the last years that there was a wave of populist politics, which wasn't really only concentrated in the States, but has spread literally globally, So what is your take on the post-Trump era on where this leaves populism in the States?
I believe that populism is only going to gain favor further as long as the economic situation has deteriorated, especially in the United States. These COVID lockdowns, the longer they go, the more permanent job losses that we're facing at the moment. And unfortunately, these are real people with real families that need to be fed and don't want to hear excuses from politicians in Washington, D.C. They want to see results. They want to see the economy open up. The wave of populism is absolutely not going away. The popularity of Trump is most likely to gain favor so long as the economy doesn't rebound in the time frame that the next elections in 2022 and 2024 happen. You're going to see the same thing happen in the European Union. Malta's not immune to it. Italy's certainly not immune to it. Even the Germans and the Dutch. I mean, you can see this wave of populism is so much as the European Union has tried to quell it, and the Democrats in America have tried to crush it. It just hasn't gone away. It's only gained favor.
Just to close off for today, Albert, just very briefly, around up on the Italian politics, quite a lot going on there.
Yeah, the Italian politics is political drama for centuries. Very entertaining.
So what about an update on today? What's happening?
I believe that Draghi just was approved even by the five-star movement. So most likely Draghi is going to take the reins, in my opinion. He's going to look towards the ECB for loans for Italy. I don't really see this Draghi's government lasting more than 2 years, however. So we'll see what Salvini or Liga and Salvini have in store for him.
Thank you very much. Thank you for tonight, Albert. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
That was Albert Marko, a geopolitical specialist. Very knowledgeable, don't you believe?